Yo, Triple Bear, going to talk about Ignite Vortex. This is going to be a little bit of a build overview. I'm going to take a note out of Weggle's book. It's not going to be so much of a build guide. I'm going to give a quick overview. I'll have a build guide later once I've kind of fleshed out what I like and all the little problems solved and everything figured out. And I test a few more things. And, I got to get my Mage Blood first, okay? It's embarrassing. It's more than a week, and Mr. Broadcaster doesn't have Mage Blood yet. Embarrassing. I'm getting it today. So we're running all of these with Ignite Vortex on stream. I've been running them for a few days. Skittering, Delirium, all that. Strats on the stream, ! Atlas. But that's not what today's video is about. I just want to get a quick overview of Ignite Vortex. I've been getting a lot of questions, and of course, that's understandable because everybody wants to swap off Cold Dot or, other Ellie builds and play a cool Ignite Vortex one where you just have left mouse button down. I'll show some gameplay towards the end of the stream, or the end of the video. Sorry, brain's a little fried. But we're gonna do a quick overview first, and then we'll have a gameplay afterwards. Where I'll show you 60% delirium, which is what I farm. It's just faster than 80, because I haven't bought upgrades to get more damage yet. I might do 80. I don't know. 80 is not that bad. I might just farm 80 on stream. I have to sell another one of my apothecaries to afford it, though. Woe is me. Anyways, all right. Ignite Vortex. So there's two main variations that I've been working with. The first one is with the Profane Jewels. So you have Profane Bloom, Forbidden Flesh, and Forbidden Flame. Now, these are rare. They're kind of expensive. If you see here, it's like 13 div for this one, and it's going to be like 6 div for the other. So it's like 19 divines total, and it takes up 2 jewel sockets. The second variation, and these are hard to farm, right? They're a very rare drop. So if I make a build guide and say buy these jewels, they're kind of just gone, right? Like not many people get to play them. The second variation is going to be Oriatsend. This is a rare flask as well, right? But this is a lot more realistically farmable. There's a lot of Russian streamers who just love farming Uber Cyrus. I don't get it. I don't understand. I swear, though, every Russian streamer that I see is farming Uber Cyrus. So thank you. Thank you. Okay, Privyet, my Russian brethren. Keep farming, okay? Keep up the great work. It's 12 div, a little bit cheaper, and can be farmed. Now, the big difference between these two, right? You got to have an explosion, or your build isn't that cool, okay? And with Ignite Vortex, you have Ignite on left mouse button. I have a cool MTX, so it's the new skull thing. I don't know, it was like 15 bucks or something. They just released it. I mean, I'm playing Ignite Vortex, might as well get it. Ignite Vortex, though, right? You're igniting with your Vortex. The ignites spread, and then you have explosions. And this is something I'm still kind of vibing out, but Ignite Proliferation. Now, normally you wouldn't combine Ignite Spread with Ignite Proliferation. But when you have explosions, it doesn't feel as bad because your explosions can kind of keep the spread going. And I kind of like Ignite Proliferation when I'm doing the delirium farming, especially if I have stuff like Beyond or like Scourge or whatever it's called now. When I'm doing breaches, having just a couple extra little Ignite Prolif pools down, when I'm hitting the strong boxes and I get to open it again, a lot of that is kind of just like, it makes it a lot smoother. But Ignite Prolif can honestly be swapped for another gem. We'll cover gem swaps later because you don't have to get the exact same colors as this. But that's kind of the gist, right? You're a left mouse button build. You can shield charge around. Your Vortex ignites, the Ignite spread. There's explosions. There's Ignite Proliferation. And it's baller, okay? It's really fun because you're pretty much no buttons, right? All you do is Arcanist Brand. You've got a Malevolence that you pop every once in a while if you want. And then you do Infernal Cry. So it's like, 3 buttons for utility on the boss. Otherwise, while you're clearing, you're just shield charging. So the two variations, though. With Profane Jewels, this is one thing I need to test. There's like a Hex Master thing. I know Rue played around with it last league on stream, where you take the Keystone Hex Master, where your hexes have infinite duration, and then you use Asenath's Gentle Touch, which has curses on the dead bodies of monsters. And so those curses have infinite duration, so they're always being nearby. They're always ready to kind of like explode nearby enemies, and you can kind of have this constant aura of explosions ready to go, and it's really good for simulacrums. It seemed really good on breach and stuff. But unless you're doing that, I feel like Orios End is better. The explosion gets scaled by your elemental damage, even if it's not fire. You know, we have lots of sources of global elemental damage on the tree, some from our gear, and whatnot, right? Like if it chooses fire, then on the increased fireworks, stuff like that. And, you know, exposure that we apply, you know, if it chooses whatever exposure, then, you know, the exposure works. But the big meme with this is I'm giving up a flask slot instead of 2 jewel sockets. And I'm doing that so that I can do a new meme this league where you get stunned all the time and you recover damage from stunning hits as life. And then you have a lot of increased stun and block recovery. And you get stunned all the time by taking this energy shield mastery where your stun threshold is based on 60% of your life. I should take this Herald of Ash thing off. I don't actually do that. That looks really dumb. I actually just have boom like that. Okay, so stun threshold based on 60% of my energy shield instead of life is very nice to get stunned all the time, because then I'm recovering 52% of damage from stunning hits. So if I take 1,000 damage from a stunning hit, then I'm recovering 500 of that life instantly. So as long as I don't get one shot by a hit, I'm recovering half of the damage when I get stunned, which is really nice. And how do you not get stun blocked? Stun locked is you get a immutable force, which gives you like 800 plus. I don't know what the sweet spot is. I actually just I pulled one of these from Gwenin off stream when my internet wasn't working. Listed it for 40 chaos. Next day I got spammed as soon as I logged in because some other YouTube memer put out a video where he was like showcasing this, and yeah, they're like 1 point whatever divs now for a good like 860 roll. I don't know what the sweet spot is though, but I mean, higher's better, so better safe than sorry with that kind of stuff. That's really nice though. And so now I have a pretty nice source of recovery after I get hit, and I thought to combine that with 50% recoup. So we have 30% here, and then this down here also gives life on kill. So that's like really nice when you're doing this delirium stuff, when you're doing those breaches. You know, I'm getting tens and tens of kills every second, especially with that ignite proliferation. I'm getting like 60 monster kills in, you know, a quarter of a second or something. So having just any source of life on kill already is really nice. But now I have 50% recoup. I have 50% recoup. I have life on kill, and I take the recoup mastery where it occurs over 3 seconds, which is, you know, a little bit nicer. It's like 25% extra recoup, kind of. I don't know. It just makes it feel nicer, right? Having it over 3 instead of 4. It happens faster. So now 50% of the damage I take gets recouped over 3 seconds, and 50% of the damage I take gets instantly recovered. So as long as I'm taking stunning hits, which doesn't happen all the time since we're EB, we have a skin, and we scale our energy shield semi-hard, right? So really, some small hits won't be stunning us, but, you know, we get stunned as if we have 600 life, which is pretty low. It's not 0, it's not like 10, right? Where like literally everything will stun us. But especially in like 60, even 80 deli, this juicy stuff, most of the time, anytime I get hit, I get stunned. So that's really nice, because Elementalists kind of had an issue with recovery. So much so that you would run like 2 life flasks because you just don't have a better option. I don't have the leech right here. I will pick this back up eventually. It'll be nice. I mean, I think I will, right? But I had to drop it to do all the recoup, the whatever, and to have my damage nodes. But aside from that, I just have a life flask that gives instant recovery on low life. This is actually really nice. Yeah, I'll move my camera, by the way, so you can see abilities and whatnot. Instant recovery on low life, and I'm using Petrified Blood. It gives me a little bit more of a max hit, and it lets me kind of reserve some of my life, get some vitality, so I can have some regen while I use Petrified Blood. It doesn't feel so bad. But the Petrified Blood stuff is pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie. It kind of will prevent extra damage when I get below low life. It prevents 40%, and then that's recovered. And normally you'd never do that because Elementalist has like no good recovery options. But now that I'm recovering instantly 50% of the damage that I take from stunning hits, and I have 50% recoup over 3 seconds, on top of my flask, on top of life on kill, on top of vitality regen. It's actually really nice. It's pretty comfortable. As soon as I got suppression and freeze immunity figured out, I don't think I died like, you know, all the way from level 96.5 to 97.4 now. Maybe there's like, I think there's a couple where there's a big monster, you know, like the slow Vol, you know, it's like the Uber at Zeri guys, they like walk around with a sword and it's like, oh, you know, they're super heavy. They don't attack that quickly, but man, when they hit you, it's a one shot, right? Because they do so much damage. One of those dickheads got Soul Eater. So he literally just did the katana thing and I died. So I was like, okay, I just don't touch that. I just don't go by that guy, right? I was like, all right, just ignore that guy. You know, it's a deli map. I miss one monster, sure. But yeah, so that's the big stun meme, right? That's the recovery. That's kind of why I am leaning towards Oriath's End. It's a lot more comfortable because when you're doing delirium maps, you kind of got to loot. You'll see that later on. You're going to be clicking lots of scarabs. You're going to be clicking glass blowers or, you know, random other things. And there's going to be some dumb little minion like all the way over here who tries to hit you and you're looting right here. And having this stun recovery, having this recoup makes it so, you know, when the guy hits me 3 times, I'm not like, oh my God, I'm going to die, right? Where it's like in years yonder, you had to like fully clear your delirium maps or the one monster kills you. You know, I do not like builds like that. So yeah, that covers about that. We're going to talk about some general gearing now. For those who have made the swap off Cold Dot, they need a little assistance. They need some help. General gearing. A very important thing to get now that your only damage is Ignite Vortex, right? Vortex, a cooldown ability. Having Vortex 30 CDR on your Eye of Malice, extremely important. These things are 2.5 to 4 divines. It's worth it. It's very much worth it. I also get asked a lot, how much to swap? How much to swap to Ignite Vortex? Let's just cover that right away. I would say, if you're on Cold Dot and you have some quality pieces, you can carry those over, and you'll need somewhere around like 20 to 30 div then, if you have some quality gear to carry over. If you're kind of swapping without that, then I'd say around 30 div, right? Because to be comfortable, because this alone is already going to be like 12 to 15, depending on how many people are purchasing these flasks and whatnot. That's already 12 to 15, right? Which is a pretty big part of it. This is going to be like another 4. And then you still need money to be able to like have a decent weapon, to buy like a couple good cluster jewels. But you should be able to carry over a suppression shield. You should be able to carry over your gloves too, if you didn't do the 30% more damage for socketed, 30% more damage over time for socketed gloves. If you didn't do those yet, and you just have gloves like these, then you can carry those over and just redo the implicits, or your boots, right? Your boots, it's just like suppression stuff. Or your amulet, if you got dot multi +1 cold, you can carry that over too. So a lot of this stuff is like transferable. Maybe even the scepter too, depending on what you got. If you got like +1 cold and then you got cold damage, increased cold damage, that still works. It doesn't have to be fire, because we're fire to cold damage, cold to fire support. So that should work, and then you can just like change the craft or something. There's a lot of stuff that can be carried over, but I would say generally 30 divs so you don't have to skimp. But yeah, CDR in your Eye of Malice. For your chest, the Skin of the Loyal is going to be cheaper than Skin of the Lords right now. And you do want one of these for the global defense to make sure you have enough evasion rating and enough armor where you don't get chunked all the time and it doesn't feel bad. With this, you can change the colors a lot, right? I have 3 blue, 3 red. You can swap, you could realistically swap one of the reds for a green, right? You could swap Cruelty for Swift Affliction, lose a little bit of damage. You could swap a blue for a green. You could swap Cruelty for Efficacy or something, and lose some damage, right? It's all just a little bit of swapping. You might lose some damage, but it might be like 4 divines cheaper, and you might just have to do that, right? Especially if these get like, you know, the good colors get bought up, then you kind of just deal with a slightly suboptimal color for a little bit, and that's totally fine. That's absolutely fine, you know, for a while. And then you can upgrade later, get the good colors when you've got more currency after you've been farming up them 60 deli maps. Hell yeah. All right, so that's colors on the chest. Good Crucible mods and just in general mods on shields and whatnot. Later on the shield, I'm going to be going like max res I'll try to get like two all max res rolled with some other stuff, but I'm gonna have to recraft a lot of my gear to do that. So that'll be in like the actual guide. But as far as Crucible goes, getting recover 3 life when you suppress spell damage is like, this is baller. This is really, really nice. Especially in Delirium when you have lots of random little spell hits going on constantly. Just recovering 3% of your life when you suppress, which should be 100% of the time, is primo. As far as scepters go, I think you just grab like Fire Dot Multi. Yeah, I don't know how many other good mods are on scepters. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen too many good scepter stuff. But just grab like Fire Dot Multi. I don't have anything good on mine, so I've got nothing to flex. I'm kind of just chilling on some random one that I got. I have +1 cold. I used Scorching Fossils until I hit like fire damage, and I got Fire to Spells, and you know, sure, I craft Fire Dot Multi. You know, that's okay. For your rings, Replica Emberwake is really nice. I haven't encountered any problems with this. There's apparently some weird thing where if your ignites are too short a duration and you go up against a monster that reduces your ignite duration even more, then it's too short and it can't deal damage. But if I come upon a rare like that, I don't know, dude. I'm just gonna like skip it if that's a problem. I don't think I've come up upon one, or just picking up like simply not using Swift Affliction and having the 30% ignite duration here is fine enough. I don't know. But like, it's literally no big, you know, people act like, oh my God, how are you going to deal with that? It's like, bro, I'll just run away. I don't know. I don't kill that guy, I guess. I don't think it's been an issue for me. Or if it has, I just don't notice it. I just ignore him and move on, I guess. Rings. You get a flammability on hit, Synth Implicit or Fractured. Then you use like Dex Essence, because you need a lot of Dex on the build until you hit a tier 1 res. And then you can do like life, right? You want a suffix open for this craft. We'll talk about that later for ailment solving. As far as belts, bro, just buy a Stygian. Stygians like this, where you have like a good chaos res, 2 good Ellie reses, and then you can craft life. These are like 50C. It's so cheap. It's so cheap. Just buy one. So for boots, get Fractured Suppression, use a res essence, right? Fractured Suppression, that's 1 suffix. Use a res essence, that's 2 suffixes guaranteed. And you're using that res essence until you hit another resistance. Now you have triple suffixes. Then you would do Eldritch Chaos with Searing Exarch as the dominant force. I don't have one here, but if Searing Exarch is dominant, add a prefix. It would say if Searing Exarch is dominant, re-roll its prefixes. You would do that until you hit movement speed or life. Now, for the endgame boots, I need chance to avoid being frozen because we can't be Brine King because I'm doing stun memes. So I can't be Brine King or the stun memes are just dead, right? So I need a new way to avoid freeze, and that is a Rin Unveil craft. 100% chance to avoid being frozen. You need this especially if you're doing boxes. I didn't have it for a while, and it was painful. I was being stubborn, and I didn't have it, and I just kept dying, and it was frustrating, so I bought some Veiled Rin from the website. You can just search tilde, you press the tilde key, you know, the little squiggly, Rin Veiled, and then you just buy boots. But yeah, you kind of need that. I gave up my life on this, so when I redo these, I probably... What res do they have right now? It's T2 Chaos, T2 Lightning. I don't know. That's fine. I probably will just have like a 30 or 35 move speed there. I'll re-roll them, or I'll re-roll with the Eldritch Chaos until it hits like T2 or T1 life. And then I'm going to... I actually would hit life. I would re-roll these until life. And then you lock your suffixes, right? You do suffixes cannot be changed. If you have a prefix open, you've got to have one open, right? You do Eldritch Null if you don't. So I have T1 life. That's the only mod. I craft suffix can't be changed. I have 2 prefixes now. One is the craft. The other is my good life mod. And then I purchase an Ashling off the Forbidden Trove. And hopefully it removes that craft. So I have tier 1 life. And I have an Unveiled mod now as my prefix. I'm going to block whatever it is that's Craft of Exile says has the highest weighting. And I'm going to try and unveil movement speed and cannot be chilled. And that is how you obtain chill immunity. Then I will finish my boots by crafting avoid being frozen. So I'll have chill immunity, freeze immunity on my boots. Life, move speed, triple res, or double res and suppression. That's the ideal world. Right now, I just don't have life on my boots, and I have some amount of chill. reduce effect, which is good enough for now. As far as shock, you have a suffix open on your gloves, so you do the same thing, right? Grab Fractured Suppression, use a Resistance Essence, except now you can use a Resistance Essence until you hit life and have an open suffix. And you want that open suffix for the 40 reduced effective shock and chill on you. You combine that with an open suffix on your ring to craft 60 reduced effective shock on you, and now you are shock immune. So we have covered freeze, shock, chill. All that's left is ignite. And ignite is an issue on Petrified Blood because damage over time really pones you. So you just grab 60 less duration of ignites. It's good enough. And then you upgrade this because you're probably farming red altars, and you do unaffected by burning ground because the red altar mod's really annoying. You know, that damage over time. It's kind of a pain in the booty. So we kind of covered how you generally craft gear. Like literally all crafting right now is grab a fractured base, use essence until you hit another mod, and then do eldritch crafting. Or on like rings, you know, you just grab a whatever, use a stat essence until you hit res and, you know, whatever else you need. A res and a life, right? Which is what I have here, and then an open suffix. And so bing bong, dude, that's all good. As far as the trees go, oh, yo, the Timeless Jewel. Yeah, you kind of want a Timeless Jewel that has Frenzy and Onslaught on kill here. If you want to know how to do that, Google Maxroll Timeless Jewel. I have an article about that using the Timeless Jewel Finder. It's really, really nice tool. Other than that, you know, you have double cluster set up just so you have more access to jewels. I have stuff like reduced effect of chill on me. I needed the shock here before until I opened up the suffix on my ring. But reduced effective chill on me here. You know, I'm at like 70%. And then I cap it out on jewels right now. I got really lucky. I got a Corrupting Blood with reduced effective chill and reduced effective shock. So I'm chill immune now, but ideally I would just do it from boots, and then I don't have to give up jewel mods, and then I can get that damage there instead. Right, so, you know, this is an unideal version of the build. You can kind of see where I would want to upgrade past that. And then I have my stun jewels here. That's Corrupting Blood. The Watcher's Eye. So how do we cap suppression? Suppression is very important, right? Especially farming delirium. All those little guys shoot a lot of random things, and the delirium like influence itself, you know, when the monster like splits open and then a guy pops up and he shoots stuff down, all that random stuff are spells that can be suppressed. So it's really important you have 100%. You do it through a Watcher Eye. So I have 12% there. I have 14% here. I have 14% on my boots. I have a shield with an implicit, so it's only 3 here, and then a 19% here on the actual shield itself. And then I have an anointment for entrench, which is another 12% spell suppression. So I anoint this one down here. And this is actually really, really nice when I'm doing breach in delirium, because I gain 3 life flask charges when I suppress spell damage, which means I can just spam my life flask like constantly. It's crazy. And as Petrified Blood, I get instant recovery on low life. So I'm just like, I'm constantly just, I'm just shooting up if I'm actually ever taking damage, which is really just like Esh monsters with Soul Eater. I don't know what the hell it is, but Esh monsters with Soul Eater are crazy. That's like the one thing you gotta, dude, it brings me back to T11 strands on Vol Fireball. That was the one thing killing me on my way to level 100 in Legacy League. Esh breach monsters. And then anyways, and then you pick up the instinct wheel. So you get the suppress, 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 and then you obtain the phasing if you've suppressed spell damage recently. And then you have 8% chance to suppress spell damage while phasing. So generally you'll always be phasing because you in delirium and breaching and all of this stuff, you'll always have been suppressing spell damage recently. But you also, just to make sure, want to grab suppression on kill. Right, 4% is enough when you're killing this many monsters. So that's how I cap out my 100% spell suppression. I believe, and then, you know, flasks, get reduced effective curses, get armor, get evasion rating, right? You know, generic stuff, get bleed removal here. You got to have Corrupting Blood and bleed removal. Corrupting Blood immunity on a jewel, bleed removal on a flask, because Petrified Blood, if you take dot damage, you kind of just get like, you get utterly obliterated. Other than that, I think I covered everything. I guess I didn't specifically say like we're able to ignite with Vortex because of Shaper of Flames. I don't know. I'm 24 minutes in and And we covered everything else. All right, hits always ignite. All damage can ignite. That's how we were able to do it. Sorry, it's a little disjointed, but hey, man, it'd be easy, yummy. And then we convert half of that to fire so that you get the 25% more damage with ignites. Yeah, pretty nice stuff, honestly. Thanks, Rue. This build's insane. All right, Rue's and Ignite Vortex. Let's play a little bit of this build. You see here, I have Herald of Ash. I bought the Despair. I bought the Despair Herald of Ash, or just Herald MTX. It was like $20-something, and I can't use it because it's just going to reserve my life, and I can't fit it in comfortably. But I want to use it for the showcase just because it makes it look so much more cool. Like this is the big meme. This is the big meme Herald of Ash. You see the cool explosions? It's like, oh man, like that's tight, right? And so you just run around, you're shield charging, you have all these explosions. I gotta go back and kill most of the monsters, right? But we got the random things coming. Look at all those. I want to get into a breach though, so we'll do that. I don't have to full clear. But yeah, this is what I've been doing on stream, just farming 60% delirium. It's really fun when you have like all these boxes and whatnot. You spawn all the monsters, you like pick up shrines, and here we've got a breach. Normally I'll let the breaches rock, and I'll just kind of like go kill some more monsters, get some big explosions. And then when I come back, there's a bunch of breach monsters, so I can just like run through them and they all explode. It's pretty neat stuff. But yeah, having the Herald of Ash there is a little bit monka because it reserves a lot of my life, and I don't get that little bit of extra buffer, even if I am petrified blood. So I'm just gonna run through the map. I'll loot all this after, because otherwise it's just gonna be watching me loot. Okay, it doesn't take that long, but still. But yeah, it's pretty fun. I really enjoy this build for just farming this kind of content, especially if you don't care about levels and you just wanna blast. You can put that Herald effect on, but hey, the explosions are cool enough when you walk into a breach. Honestly, with this build though, oh, look at that, see right there, that's kind of fun. Ain't that fun on left mouse button? With this, when these guys spawn, I don't have enough damage yet to like kill them. You know, it's not like they're super scary or anything, as long as I don't choose any crazy altar mods. Honest to God, I just skip them. Right, they drop like 10 splinters anyway. What's the jewel called? There's like a jewel that sometimes is worth like 7 div or something. It's not worth like anything this league. It's not worth anything at all. It's like a 70 chaos jewel. So, dude, they're so not worth it to kill. They're like so bad. I was a little sloppy, so I only have 13 rewards here. Normally, I at least hit 14, and then I kill the map bosses, and then we get at least, you know, a 14 or 15 reward. But yeah, then I just do this. I press my 2 buttons, I have my aura up, and I just walk in a circle, and the bosses die, right? I think I only have like 3.8 million damage, but that's a pretty quick one. You know, I didn't fully clear it. Obviously not. There's going to be random monsters. I'll get them when I'm looting, right? That's normally what I do. With the stun stuff, I can kind of just let the monsters die while I loot whatever random shit's left. My ignite will be like constantly going on the ground when I'm like picking up all the loot, right? And so I'll just kill them while I'm looting, and it's pretty easy. But yeah, that's Ignite Vortex, man. It's pretty fun, not gonna lie. 30 div coming off Cold Dot. Thanks, Rutu, Cat W, and Y Jiggler. Where are my jigglers? I'm done. Okay, catch me on stream. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Bye. Mwah.